Hey guys, we're back. So we have our little Cricut tool. I actually have the paper for it, for some of you who are wondering. It says Cricut Weeder. No, it's not going to show. I'll post a picture of it on my Facebook and Instagram. But it's W-E-E-D-E-R from Cricut. And it's specially made to remove decals. Of course, from the Cricut paper. But we're going to use it to remove it from a canvas with resin on it. And you can see some of it's dry, some of it's still a little wet. But you want to try to get it when it's not fully dry. And you just put your hand behind it and push up. And what it does is it releases that seal along the edge. And then all you gotta do is just use it to grab. And when you have it enough that you can get it with your finger, you can hold somewhere that it's dry and slowly start peeling up. And then if you get over to a point where it's stuck, you just put that under it and peel it around the edge. I'm being careful not to rest my hand on anything that's not the decal. So if I'm pushing down or holding, I'm doing it on the decal so that if I mess up the paint, it's the paint that I'm going to be peeling up with the decal. Decals are not normally this sticky, but when you're using it on resin, it tends to stick quite a bit more than normal. I'm actually going to grab a couple puppy pads and put under it so that I don't push down on it. Just right in the center where she's at. That way if I push down, it's on something. Because I don't really want to put these fingers that have paint on it on the stuff I'm peeling off. Because you don't want to get paint on those spots that you painted around. Turn it. That's the puppy pads. And if you want to, as you go, you can cut it to where you don't have to worry about it touching itself, or touching somewhere that you don't want it to peel paint off of. I'm going to hold this corner over here and push against it to help it pull. I had to be careful where I put my arm because some of it is not completely dry yet. I gotta help it up on this corner because it's stuck. Okay. And I'm gonna try to go up her face and see I accidentally ripped it. So I'll have to take that piece off separate right here. So it's a little more work than if you were pulling it off of just a canvas with paint on it, because the resin is super sticky. But it just gives it that, it makes it gorgeous when you do it on resin. Is it dry here? I'm trying to find a place I can put my hands to hold the canvas in place. Okay. I'll go back and do her hair part. I got a little bit off the edge on my shirt, but I will correct that later. Okay. Now I'm going to have to come over here. And here's the detailed part. It's very detailed. So I have my tool just in case. But hopefully if I grab one spot, it'll pull most of it. You just want to be real careful in the spots where it's not fully dry, because it'll stick back down to itself and mess those spots up. And I don't want that. Okay. Okay, we're almost there, you guys. This has been very interesting. It came off pretty well for the most part, but these little intricate parts will really get you. Just a few more pieces. You definitely want to make sure you get all of the decal up and you don't leave any of it behind, because you'll definitely be able to notice it once it fully dries, and especially if you put a coat of resin on, you'll be able to see those raised spots where that decal was left. So I'm just going back over and making sure that's paint, but I want to push it down there. And that's where the paint popped up a little, because this right here was a little wet still and it pulled all at once. So if you just push it down, it keeps that edge from being like really raised and in the way. Okay. Last piece. I think that is it. I don't see any more decal. So we're going to let it finish drying, and I'll have to touch up the corners, of course, but I'm going to show you. This is our gorgeous mermaid so far. I'm going to let it finish drying, and then we're going to come back and take our gold Express Yourself Painter's metallic marker and do our star, and then we will put a coat of resin on it and decide what we want to do from there. If we want to add a second top coat, which would actually, there's already 2 coats of resin, so the next coat would be the 3rd coat, and then we'll decide if we want to add any more. I do need to clean off all of my tools, just so the next time I use them I don't have paint and stuff on them. And we'll be back to paint the star, and actually I'll probably go ahead and paint the star now, because this video isn't too long, plus it's gonna have to dry before I can resin, and I don't want to do a video of me painting the star and then a video of me resining when, you know, I can get it done. So the first time you use these, the tip is white and you have to keep pushing down until the color comes out. But then after that it comes out pretty well. It's a really beautiful metallic. I want to push it towards the edges because it is fluid, so if you just push it, it'll go up against that without drawing on the actual edge. Since there's a small raised area where the paint is raised, So it just lets that, you push the paint out and it comes out kind of fluid, and then you just push it towards the edges to fill it in. I could draw it right against the edge, but then that I would chance getting some up on the edges. And I don't want to get it up on the edge. I just want to fill in the area. This is going to take a little longer doing it this way, but it'll be more precise and fill it in very well. Okay. And then I'll just paint the center. But I want to try to get it up against the edges of the paint. Really good. I'm not talking as much just because I'm trying to really focus and not paint on that edge. I just want to push the paint to the edge. It's going to take it extra time to dry because instead of just drawing on it, I'm actually letting the liquid paint come out, seep out of it. So it's going to be thicker. And it'll take it longer to dry. So it'll probably be at least 24 to 48 hours before I come back to add a coat of resin on this, possibly even longer. Okay, now I'm just going to fill in the center section, which won't take as long because I can kind of paint it and then I'll go back over it and dot it so that it all matches. Because you want it all to have that same texture all the way through. And then I went over a little here where I thought her hand would be. So I'm going to very, very carefully just pull back. I'll have to add a little bit back to make a fine line. But I just wanted to pull back a little bit and then fix the line. Okay, and there is our gold star. I think that turned out pretty good. So yeah, now we're just gonna, here, let me make sure you can see the full thing. Now we're gonna let it all dry. And then we'll come back in a few days. I'm gonna touch up the edges. I'll do that off camera so you don't have to look at the video of the edges being touched up. And then we'll come back and add a coat of resin. Probably just plain resin. I might do some glitter resin. I'm not sure. But we'll definitely add a coat of resin. We might do one coat of plain and then a coat of glitter. Or we might do some chunky glitter. We'll just kind of go with it and see what we decide. But here it is so far. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please let me know what you think.